Hello, it is me, Modesty, and welcome back to my channel. Today is my birthday! Well, today, when I'm, right now when I'm recording it, it's not. But the day that I upload this, it will be my birthday. So happy birthday to me! Yay, happy birthday! I'm an old man today. 33 years old today. And it's pretty cool. Pretty crazy to be this old. I don't know if you heard that, my dog just let out an old man groan as if commiserating with me in my old age. So that's fun. It's weird. I didn't expect to get very far past 20, and now I'm over 30. I'm in my, I think I'm a cusp. I'm on the cusp of early 30s and mid 30s. So that's pretty freaking cool. That's pretty sick. Today's video, there's a couple things. Thank you for the support through February as I was just uploading stuff. I changed my YouTube profile picture, which isn't a super big deal, but I did kind of just want to mention it. So it was this fish oven thing that I found on, I don't remember how I found it or whatever, on Google. I had it set to that because I wasn't sure when I started this channel if I would show my face or not, and that's all I've done since I have started regularly uploading. So I was like, okay, screw it, whatever. So now it is a pit crew I made of myself many years ago. And the pit crew designing thing is by an artist named Pepper Jackets. My birthday. And I thought it would be cool to just talk about my collections, I guess. I don't know. My birthday's always been weird for me. I just kind of have a hard time in general taking up space, whether accidentally or on purpose. I don't know if that really makes sense, but taking up space is really difficult for my brain and my emotions. So my birthday in particular has always just been a weird freaking time because it's like, oh, what do you want to do for your birthday? I don't know. I don't feel like I'm a being with a sense of agency. How could you possibly ask me what I want and acknowledge that I exist? That's crazy. Why would you do that? And that discomfort I have about that is pretty much the whole reason that I have this YouTube channel. So it's every week now, bitch. We throwing hands. We're getting uncomfortable until I am no longer uncomfortable with talking about myself and taking up space and just doing stuff, doing what I want. So I think I'm just gonna do the big exercise this time around, and I'm just gonna talk about things that I really like. Lately, I've been struggling with my thrifting addiction. But something I found, I was walking out. I was in the last section of the thrift store that I was browsing, and this caught my eye. This book, okay, The Royal Diaries, Elizabeth I, Red Rose of the House of Tudor. So this is a Scholastic, the company that did the book fairs, that does the book fairs. This was published by them. This is a Scholastic book series that was published by them. I'm assuming in probably the late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, 1999. Okay, so I saw this and I freaked out because I don't remember reading this one. I'm sure I had this one. It was the first one of the series. There's no way in my mind I would have seen this with the gold foil. Oh shit, you can't really tell. With the gold foil page edges. There's no way baby me saw this and didn't immediately shit myself wanting to get it. So this series, childhood throwback. I was such a book nerd as a child. I very much looked forward to the book fairs every fall from Scholastic. And that was probably the one time where I would ask something of my parents. There have been a lot of things, like in school particularly, that I would avoid simply because I knew that if I'd gone to do that thing, it would mean my parents would have to pay out money for doing that thing. And so I thought it was better that I just not do it so it wouldn't cost my parents extra money. That's how traumatized I am about taking space, okay? But the Scholastic Book Fair was one time, was a continuous, was one event that I would always take up space and ask if I could have some spare change to purchase something. And so I was very particular about what I would get. And so princesses, books about princesses, of course, why wouldn't I? These books are, I think, like not a spin-off, but like they were inspired by like the American Girl series, which is really similar to where it's like it's written from the perspective of a young girl, right? Like it's a journal, a diary, the Royal Diaries. It's journal entries, right? And so the American Girl series was super successful, and so they branched out, and then they did young women from all over the world. So Elizabeth I, obviously the daughter of King Henry the Eighth, with all of his crazy ass wives. Not that his wives were crazy, but just crazy that he had so many wives. With his rotten feet and his stank breath and his trying so hard to bear an heir to his throne, and he had Elizabeth. So that was the first one. The one that I specifically remember, and I wouldn't have been able to remember that this book existed if I had not found the Elizabeth book at the thrift store. And that's literally the whole reason why I'm talking about this right now. And like retracing the some of the joys that I had in my childhood as a 33-year-old adult. I'm just chasing that whimsy, bro. A couple videos ago, I showed you my VHS collection. It's grown more since I recorded that video, which is good and bad. But I've focused a lot more on finding media that I very fondly remember from childhood, right? And I think it's been interesting because VHS's movies and things are easier, and music is easier for me to remember than books that I would have read. I think because I consume so much more literature, like so quickly, like that was like a thing that I prided myself on, was being able to read so much and so quickly, that I have forgotten a lot of what it is I have read in my youth. So this is very exciting for me to like retrace these steps and to like figure all of this stuff out. But of this series, of the Royal Diary series, the one that really, really caught my attention was the second book in the series, which is about Cleopatra. So I found this book online. It is beat to shit. The spine is like falling apart, and it's kind of endearing. I kind of like that. Like I spent money. Like I made sure to buy like the cheapest version on the. It's a thrifting. It's a book thrifting website, and so their whole thing is that they have like old books that like people sell to them, and then they try to give all these books new homes. And so I purposefully bought one that was beat up because if I still had my copy of this, I am sure that this is what it would look like just falling apart, cardboard popping out, corners bent to shit. Cleopatra. I loved Egypt. And Rome and Greece, ancient Greece, like those were my hyperfixations as a child. I don't know why. Just faraway lands, I guess. Very cool, very, very exciting. So I got that, thrifted that. Another book that was also the beginning of a series, and I knew that it was part of a series, but I could not have read more than this first book, and I lost my freaking mind. So this book from the book series Daughters of the Moon, called Goddess of the Night. I don't remember the synopsis for this, besides the fact that the main character here has like mystical powers, and allegedly there's like a legend that she's like a descended daughter of Selene, the goddess of the moon. And she like meets other young women who are also daughters of the moon. And they all have different powers, and there's like some secret society that's trying to find them, and I'm assuming use their powers to take over the world. So I found this. I'm very excited to read this. I'm a few pages in. I'm not very far in, but getting into this, I remember being enamored with at least the cover of this book. It was very, very gay of me. But I just remember, this felt like bad bitch energy. This felt very powerful. So I'm excited to read this. I'm excited to read the Royal Diaries. Maybe I'll collect more of them. I am not positive on that quite yet, because I already have a lot of books. So with that, let's on that topic, one book series that I know I read the entirety of was A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. Loved the Baudelaire children. That is one of my favorite stories of all time. I love those three. I love that IP. I love that series. I loved the Jim Carrey movie when it came out. I was very disappointed because my expectations weren't met for that movie, but I do love that movie. For what it is, it's a beautiful adaptation. So when the Netflix series came out, I was very nervous because I had already been burned once, and I'm not a very big fan of Neil Patrick Harris. I don't know why. I don't have an explanation for it, but just something about him just rubs me not great. I don't like it. Makes me prickly. But I finally gave up that stubbornness and have watched it, I think, twice now since it's been out, not like consecutively. Beautiful. Absolutely phenomenal, lovely adaptation of those books. And I really want to read through them all again. So I've lost the series that I had, the physical books that I've had since childhood. I only had a couple of them, and again, not the complete series. So any chance that I could have had to reread them as an adult, I just haven't had. And so I recently was inspired to just buy a new collection of this series, and again, have intended to read them, and I just haven't gotten around to it. The thing about it, me rereading those books, is that I was going to end up using it to motivate me to read the Harry Potter book series. I've never read the Harry Potter books. Of course, I'm a millennial, so of course they were always around the zeitgeist of my youth growing up. I actually remember when the first book came out, and I feel like very shortly after the movies came out, and I remember seeing the movie for the first book and going, wow, that was really fun. I want to read these. And I got the second book from Chamber of Secrets from my school library. I think I would have been in second grade, like first or second grade at the time. And again, like, I was an avid reader. Like, there was no, like, I was very capable of having reading those books at that age, and I couldn't finish it. I couldn't finish the book. I remember getting to the Death Day party and just returning it to the library. And I always wondered why that was the case. I've begrudgingly been wanting to read them because I that would just be cool, I thought, to read a children's book as an adult with a more critical eye and better understanding of things, And so I was interested in doing a video comparing and contrasting my experiences with Harry Potter to my experiences with rereading A Series of Unfortunate Events. And I can't get through the Harry Potter books. I've been listening to the audiobooks that I have been borrowing from my library because I am not interested in buying any of those books. New, certainly, but I'm also having trouble. I had them I had them all thrifted. I have a friend who grew up reading those books, and when she had heard that I had never read them before, she was aghast and was very forthcoming in acquiring all of them secondhand for me to read. And having those books in my home, not a fault of my friends at all, and nothing to do with her. She's very kind. She just wanted to share this very, very nostalgic part of her childhood with me. Those books pissed me off. I hated having them in my house, so I had to get rid of them. I donated them, and I'm sure I still have the first book because I was like, I can't take, like, I do want to read them. But it has been physically painful for me to try to pick up a physical book of the Harry Potter series to read with my eyeballs. So I have been listening to them, and I have listened to the first book, the second book, the third book. I just finished the fourth book, I think earlier this year. I think in January, I think I finished the fourth book. And I have attempted to listen to the fifth book 3 times. I have borrowed it from my library, my digital copy of the audiobook of the fifth book, The Order of the Phoenix, 3 times, and I have been unable to finish it each time. There is just something that is just so difficult. This deserves an entirely different video for me to talk about, and I will happily do that someday. But my God, I cannot. So I should just stop torturing myself, and I should just start reading a series of unfortunate events. I wanted to give Harry Potter a fair chance, right? I have beliefs that don't align with that of the author, and so I know that bias makes it difficult for me to approach this book series, to read it fairly, right? And there are plenty of parts in the first 4 books that I really enjoyed. There's a lot of good pieces to it, but overall, it's shit. It's pissing me off. I'm getting really mad about it. And if you're a friend of mine, you know that when I get pissed off about something, it's because I'm really I enjoy that thing because it wiggles in my brain in a particular way. And if I'm raging about a thing, it means I'm very passionate about it, right? Very passionate about a topic that I feel like is failing in that media, in that thing that I'm criticizing. The criticism itself, means that I can see that there's a better version of that thing that could exist, like the possibility of that existing, because I do have a very overactive imagination. I really want to enjoy the Harry Potter series, and I'm struggling with that. But yeah, so there's that. So yeah, a series of unfortunate events. Would love to read through those someday and come to you and gush or criticize those in the future. Continuing on the topic of childhood whimsy, I as I get older, it's my birthday. It's my birthday, if you didn't know. As I'm getting older, I'm realizing that it's kind of easy to be happy. And I don't quite know what I mean by that, but I think humans, we've complicated things so much, we want all of this meaning from the world. We want definitions for things. We want to understand everything, and I think that nature, that intrinsic nature is really beautiful, but out of it we can so easily become greedy for more, and at the end of it all, we're just little guys. We're little creatures. We have very basic needs that we must have met to keep going, and we've just overcomplicated things, and it can be really hard for us to find happiness in the everyday. And one of the things that I've been working on since Since I got sick and tired of being depressed and sad all the time, is trying to find what brings me happiness. And one small, tiny thing out of the myriad of things that bring me joy in the everyday is collecting little things. Like I just mentioned to you, like I really I've been into. I'm excited to get back into reading. Reading was one of the greatest joys for me as a child. It was a way of escape. It was a way to build up my imagination. It made me a very social child. I'm very introverted. But I feel like I'm extrovert introverted, like when I do get with people, I can be very bubbly and open. And I always want to make sure that people feel included because I know what it's like to be excluded. And so I always take it upon myself to make sure to the best of my ability that everybody feels included. And so reading was a big part of that, reading really expanded my horizons and my understandings of human nature at a very young age. So reading is a really big, important thing to me. And, outside of that, there's like video games. I have here some video that I took of my collections, so I didn't have to like run around with you. I can just be here. Obviously, one collection you see behind me all the time is Five Nights at Freddy's. I love the Five Nights at Freddy's series. I've been following people just play. Like I haven't played any of the games myself, but I really like the franchise. I think it's fun. I love the fact that shit's ambiguous. It's frustrating. All the lore stuff is frustrating, but I think what is engaging about it is that it kind of is just growing with time. With each installment, it's changing, it's evolving, it's shifting, and that kind of makes it feel like a living, breathing piece of media and art. And I think that's really cool. That's really cool. That's really fun. I'm also an avid RuneScape player, particularly old school RuneScape. And so, of course, I have these plushies here, all created by Makeship. There's a Zanuck, my most recent edition. The Gnome Child is my original one that I got, and then just a regular guy in rune armor. I also have this. So I was looking for this forever. It's just it's a blank notebook. I use this as my planner for the year. I've put all the calendar months in here, and then each week has dedicated page spread, and then there's a couple of extra pages at the end for miscellaneous journaling. But it's just a map of Gielinor, and it is so pretty, and it's so cool. There's something about RuneScape. It's so goofy. It's got that dry British humor about it, and then the adventure aspects. I love, for some reason, how skilling works. My ADHD fights every minute of skilling, but I've come to really enjoy it as I've gotten older. So I really love RuneScape. I have those plushies. I have this planner. And then I have the first two books of the most recent publishing of RuneScape novels. I have that, and then I have this fan-made map of Gielinor. I got it from a Renaissance fair near me, and there's a couple of little doodles on them. I bought this, and I'm pretending like this is the map that my character in old school RuneScape uses when they're adventuring around the continent. So there's little doodles and things, and there's notes taped to it, like Bob's brilliant axes in the bottom corner, and then under the name Gielinor it says If flaws, please return to the adventurer Mughugrib, which is the name of my character. This person has an Etsy shop, and I can link it down below. I'll have to re-find it and link it. But I got this at a Ren Fair, like in person. So I was stoked, and I was such a freak about it. I totally missed it. I was like in this booth looking at these maps, and I was like, oh, these are so gorgeous. I love these. Like, such a fun idea. And I'd walked away, and then my friend was like, oh, did you see that RuneScape map? And I was like, bitch, where? And I turned right back around, and I bought this and had a nice little talk with the vendor. So that was really cool, really fun. Gillinor, my favorite piece of my RuneScape collection is just a painting that a friend made for me because she knows that I love RuneScape. She just like looked up like monsters. I think this is based off of Warcath, I think, which is a boss in old school RuneScape. I've never fought him before. But like this art, what the fuck, dude? Like, it's so beautiful, so sweet, so considerate. But yeah, it's my favorite piece. I really want to get a good frame for it. Maybe even build a frame. Maybe I buy a basic frame for it and then decorate it myself with like RuneScape design, decor, etchings, whatever. But this is my favorite RuneScape piece. It is gorgeous. It is so fun. The detailing of like the adventurer, like in the face of Orkoth, is just amazing. I love. One of my oldest collections, one of my greatest loves of all time, is the manga series Nana. It's weird to talk about Nana in particular because I watched it and read it in like middle school, and really didn't ever have anybody to talk to about it when I was a kid, you know? So like to exist in a time where this series is so popular now that like the figures that I have in this collection exist is bonkers to me. It was enough for me to try to collect all of the physical copies of the manga, and now they reprint them. Like that's how popular it's become. I'm assuming on TikTok. I'm assuming it went viral on TikTok. I have a Nana tattoo that is recognized all the time, and I like almost want to cry because it's a really great series. The creator, the writer, Ai Yazawa, has been really ill for a very long time, and she says she's building up her strength to finish the series in its entirety, and that would be such a gift. But even so, everything that we have of Nana, I think, is very beautiful, and I feel very fortunate to have what I have from that series in my life right now. But yeah, I have been, anytime I have encountered something Nana related, I have purchased it. I didn't include footage of any of these, but I have several CDs. I have the live action movies. I'm telling you, I love the series. I love Nana. Nana's amazing. If you like to be sad, I highly recommend watching or reading Nana. Just keep in mind that it isn't a finished story. It has like a pretty nice, the live action movies have a pretty solid like ending to them, but the serialization itself is incomplete. So that I know that can be difficult for people to get into. But yeah, so there's that. Probably my most infamous collection, just because of how chaotic it is my Eggman collection. So I have never played a Sonic game to completion. I have played one Sonic game, and it was the one that released, it's referred to as Sonic 06. It's like the really broken one that released, I think, on PlayStation 3 on launch for that console. Yeah, and I never finished that game because it was broken, and playing it as a child, I thought I was the problem. I didn't realize that the game was broken and difficult to play. So I've never played a Sonic game. I've never finished a Sonic game. I love the Sonic movies, adore the Sonic movies. And I apparently also love Eggman. It started with this plush. I had seen it in a Target, and obviously, like, the red of it, like the brightness of it, drew my attention, and I was like, I don't know that I've ever seen Eggman merchandise, or if I have, it's very rare. And I saw him, and I was looking for something else, and I was like, you know what, Eggman, you're coming home with me. And so I brought him home, and then I just kept finding him everywhere. He was freaking all over the place. I even have some Eggman things that have been gifted to me because of my collection of Eggman stuff. So I have this solid little cutesy little collection of things that I love very much. Eggman Eat-A bag. I mean, it's not very, ouch, it's not very heavy because I can't freaking find keychains and pins of Eggman. So I need more. I need more Eggman stuff. But yeah, my most infamous collection. It somehow just keeps, people just keep finding out about it. I keep talking about it. People are encouraging my collection of things. And then my pin collection. I have a pin collection that I've downsized a lot over the years, just because it was really heavy. I've been getting really into Pokemon cards lately. I started off, I bought 2 Pokemon card packs, and because I kind of wanted to see, when I was thinking about collecting the Pokemon cards, I wanted to see if the thrill of ripping was what wanted to get me, because that was going to be a dangerous road to travel down. And thankfully, that was not the case. I did not enjoy ripping packs because it was so random. And yeah, so I was like, okay, well, who's my favorite Pokemon? Because everybody got a favorite. And I was like, there's a lot of Pokemon that I really like, I really enjoy. And I feel like for a collection like this, I definitely wouldn't play the game, the trading card game. And again, because I didn't want to, like, be so scattered as to having, like, different but specific Pokemon that I was looking for, I decided water. I've always been a water guy. I think my starters have always been fire for the most part. If I have ever played any of the video games, I started with fire. Just because I felt like that would get me through the game fastest. It's having a fire starter. Slowpoke is one of my favorite ones as an adult. Slowpoke, Slowbro, Slowking. I don't really have feelings towards Slowking. I'm not really. But Slowbro, Slowpoke, I really like them. I loved Lapras as a kid. That bitch is a mermaid, and you can't convince me otherwise. I freaking love Lapras. And fish. I like fish. Phoebus and Melodic were my favorites from one of the, I think it was Black White, that I played. So Phoebus, I'm really excited to collect Phoebuses. I recently got a full art of that. Very exciting. Yeah, so very new to this hobby, but I went to a card show that was very overwhelming, and I don't know that I'll be back to one anytime soon because of how overwhelming it was. Maybe if I have a buddy that can help me regulate and not be a little autism guy, it would be good. But everyone that I interacted with was so wonderful and so sweet and really encouraging. And so I didn't feel weird being a 30-year-old human collecting Pokemon cards for the first time ever in my life. And it made me realize that I didn't have Pokemon cards as a kid. I would get, like, I think from McDonald's, like, Happy Meals, like, I would get cards sometimes, right? But I didn't play Pokemon as a kid because, again, that just wasn't something that I had access to. That kind of a video game, those handhelds and whatever. And a vendor was asking me if I collected them as a kid. I was like, no, but I, like, lived vicariously through people, you know? And that, like, made me realize, like, oh, that's part of the fascination I have with collecting them now, is because I am safe enough to express interest in collecting Pokemon cards. And I have the money to do that, you know? And so that interaction about Pokemon cards is kind of what inspired this video and this ramble. So this is going to be a very long video. I hope it's not too annoying. I hope it makes sense. I hope you enjoyed, if not everything that I talked about or shared. I hope there was something in it that you enjoyed. Yeah, we deserve to be happy. Humans deserve to find happiness no matter how it presents in life. We are deserving of it, and we should allow ourselves to pursue it whenever we can. Thank you for joining me on my birthday video. I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just going to dinner, and I think I'm going to hang out with friends one day. And then SoccerCon is coming up super soon. I'm going to hang out with some friends then. We'll probably do a vlog of that. That'll be fun. Con vlog, bro? Con vlog. I'm going to be a con vlogger? Shit. Frick. Thank you for watching this video. If you are watching this video, I don't know how you got here. That's crazy. But I hope you enjoyed your time. It's spring, fast approaching. It's gloomy today, but it's coming. Yeah, I hope you can feel it in your bones. It's out there in the air, coming for you. Watch out, spring is on the way. It's gonna get you. Be good. Be safe. Stay healthy. And we'll see you next week.